flames or the ashes, the spirits light up the night, looking down the edge of forever. So stop me to take my advice.
There we are.
I beat you.
I don't have those quick hands.
Oh, yeah. I wished. So the first thing I'm going to do is talk about, I have an announcement. Got my first granddaughter born. I've got another grandchild, grandson, Evan. He's 8. He's a non-counter now because he's 8. And he's like, calling me, and he's cool. But we got this little tiny itsy-bitsy granddaughter born, which I found was more nerve-wracking having my daughter, Dakota, give birth than it was when I had my own kids, it seemed. It was just like, I was on pins and needles all day. 32 hours of labor.
32 hours?
32 hours of labor. And of course, that's not settling good with me. She's with a midwife. And I should know that midwives are great and all that, because I used to produce the House of Babies TV show for Discovery, which was about a midwife, an amazing midwife, Sherry Daniels in Miami. You could probably still find one of those episodes, but it was actually a big hit. But the advertisers wanted it scraped off because leave it to your dad, Alex, to be the first guy to put full frontal nudity of women on TV.
Congratulations.
Yes. So full, full, yeah.
For educational purposes.
Yeah, well, of course. But most of them were underwater births, and I developed a camera that wouldn't see blood. And I won a Telly Award for that. So it would just, to make the blood disappear. Because that was their objection of doing the show, because they said underwater births with midwives look like shark attacks.
Oh,
we've tried to film.
That's what they said.
So I'm like, hey, leave it up to me. I'll figure it out. So I did. So anyhow, but you would think I'd be less nervous, but I never met this midwife. I mean, I'm sure there's some bad ones, just like there's good doctors and bad ones.
Yeah.
So after 32 hours of labor, I'm getting a little, I'm really like freaking out, actually, because there's just things that happen, and there's nobody around. So anyhow, but baby was born after 32 hours, comes out because it's born in warm water. It did not cry. It came out cooing and singing.
Beautiful.
Came out, looked around the room, once you get the baby up out of the water, because they're connected. They can stay under there forever because they're on an umbilical cord. Some people don't think about that.
Like
you can just leave them in the warm water and they can just swim around anyhow until you got the cord. But so anyhow, this baby's born, and I'm hearing this secondhand because I was not there. I was just Bo and her and Dakota, but so I'm hearing this. But the baby comes out, looks around, and then gives Dakota, looks like giving Dakota a damn dirty look. Because this baby's like alert. It's got a lot of hair. It's obviously a little past the 9.5 months, I think. And what we were going to show. So I want to show this video of the baby with Dad Bo. And this baby's like hours old. You got to see this. If you have the video, I think you do.
Yeah.
Video.
I've got it queued up.
Yeah. So look at this. This kid is like hours old. Play this. She's just a doll, but she's lifting her head and looking around like a month-old kid.
I know, it's crazy.
Look at this. I swear to God, she just tried kissing Daddy. So, just such a sweetie. So that's Esme Grace.
She's already more active than I am.
And I'm not going to try to pronounce Bo's last name because I'll mess it up. Sorry, Bo. But anyhow, I'm just really proud Grandpa.
Congratulations.
Yeah, well, you're an Uncle Alex.
Yeah.
Everybody can call you Uncle Alex now.
Twice over.
Anyhow, so tonight, I was going to also mention I got to go to your new house, see your new studio that you're in right now. It's a beautiful high-tech studio. You even have all of the acoustical foam up and the whole deal. There it is.
Yeah, I got a little carried away.
But you got to carry it away with your haircut. But anyhow,
There's nothing left.
that's the backside of what he's doing right now. Even right down to the chair. I'm in a Walmart chair.
Yeah, I'll tell you a secret. I'm in a different chair right now.
Are you really?
Yeah, it's not as comfortable as that one.
Oh, okay. Anyhow, you got a state-of-the-art studio. You got 6 monitors. It's pretty amazing. There's 3 there, but there's 3 more right next to them.
Yeah,
pretty amazing.
We mean business.
And of course, your brother Blaine was dishing on you today. He was dishing on you. He was telling me that you're writing all these amazing software programs.
Yeah?
Yeah, he was dishing on you bad. So some pretty amazing stuff you've got going on.
Yeah. I mean, I learned everything basically from him. He's what got me into programming.
Oh, geez. But anyhow, the stuff I'm hearing about is pretty amazing, and we're not even going to mention it. But yeah, it's pretty crazy stuff. So let's move on. Let's see here. You can take yourself down now off the.
Oh
screen.
yeah, sorry. I just you
just forgot. So tonight we have Craig Woolheater.
Yes.
I always think of him as the grandfather of Bigfoots in Texas.
Have you known him a while?
Yeah, I have a long time. Familiar. Yeah, since probably about 1999, I'm thinking.
You guys ever do anything with MonsterQuest together?
Sure. Or? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Craig's been involved in plenty of things. I don't think he lists anything I did with him in his what is it called? IMDb page. No, he wouldn't do that. But anyhow, Craig he's also has he founded the Crypto Mundo. I believe he's the owner. The owner of Crypto Mundo, which was, the first news site on cryptozoology. Really an amazing site, and it's still very active today. Although he's got a lot more competition nowadays. Back then he had none.
Yeah,
it was like the only place to go if you wanted Bigfoot news or crypto news. It was it. So he's definitely, a pioneer.
Is that how you found out about him? Did you end up reading the site?
Probably Crypto Mundo, or maybe through Matt Moneymaker. I don't know. Somebody.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't remember. But Craig's a great guy, and he'll be on. We're going to get into different areas he probably doesn't get into too much or doesn't get asked about. But I want to know what in the hell's going on down in Texas. Why? Why is there so much Bigfoot activity down there? Because there is a lot. And you always think of Texas as kind of this dry, big state. But Eastern Texas, man, it's pretty amazing. So we're going to get into forest cover and food sources and what's causing what I think may be a population explosion of Bigfoots.
You think so?
And that's one thing we do not want is a population explosion of Bigfoots. We don't want them bumping into each other, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So what else we got here? Let's do that. Let's put up photo 1. Because I did want to, we're talking about Texas. I want to know, how does Texas compare with forest cover to other states? So that's why I found this map. And you can see it beats Minnesota, which is hard to believe. Minnesota's, heavily forested, the northern regions. When you get 50 miles north of our house, it's just thick forest. It's insane.
Is this forest coverage? What is the percentage?
Yeah, forest coverage, yes. Percentage of forest coverage.
Got it.
It even beats Alaska.
Wow.
Look at that.
Yeah,
35%.
So there's more forests in Texas.
But look at the number 1 state, which people always say, oh, there's no Bigfoots in, Maine or New York, the East Coast. Look at Maine. I think it's 89%.
Wow.
Forest cover.
That's way higher than I would have thought.
No, and yeah, including, can you zoom in on New York? Because a lot of people don't think, it can be Bigfoots in New York. Oh my God, I can tell you, I've spent plenty of time in upstate New York. It's insane. They don't have the states labeled. I'm not that great. But you can see that it's high. All those eastern states, 78%, the 84, 61, 65, Pennsylvania, 59%.
I would have thought they'd cut them all down by now.
No, it's crazy.
Yeah.
But now get into Iowa, 8%. Get into North Dakota, 4%. Or South Dakota, 4%. 2% in North Dakota.
That's so weird.
But you know what's cool about like North Dakota sightings? There's one river that runs across the state. That's where the sightings are. Right on the banks of the river.
They get them crossing or just...
Yeah, sure. They're going from migrating from wherever to wherever. Sure. I mean, that must explain it. But then look at on Zoom. Let's look at the Pacific Northwest. 53, 49, and 33 in California. I mean, those are still very high percentages.
Yeah, higher than you'd think.
But I was kind of shocked by Texas, 37%. You know, it's a lot of it's pretty arid there. Pardon me, I got to pour purple crap in my crappy cup. So, but no, it's amazing. So then put up photo, let's see, photo 2.
Photo 2?
The forest, the thickness of the forest and where they're actually located in the state.
Is this
So here's what's interesting. Yeah, here's where it gets interesting. And I hope I didn't screw this up. And not. Oh yeah. So can you do a photo 3 and this one side by side?
Yeah, let me put that together.
That would be awesome. We need that music when you're doing this stuff. You know that Jeopardy music. There we go. I don't know. Somehow you got yourself back in there again. There we go. Okay, so if you look, this is good enough. I mean, it's people can zoom in on it themselves. Look at the forest cover and look at the Bigfoot sightings. It's exact. No. Yeah, there we go. That's what we want to zoom in on. The forest cover and the Bigfoot sightings is exact except for Maine, only because there's nobody who lives there.
So there's no one to see them.
No one to see them. You have to take that into account. People don't think about that. If your population, people are so thin, the population, you're not going to have any sightings. I mean, there's parts of the forest up there that are just impenetrable. You're not getting in. But look at the, like Washington State, and look at Texas. You see the forest in Texas on the east side?
Yep.
Look at the sighting concentrations.
Yeah, lines up perfectly.
Which you have to think, those are the lowest people populations in eastern Texas because of the swamps and the forests and the thickets. You're going to have less people on that side. But there's more sightings.
And that's where they're seeing them. Yeah,
exactly.
If it was just made up, you'd think it would be where the people are.
Yep. And look at northern Florida, for instance. Skunk ape. Same thing.
Yeah.
It's quite interesting. Anytime you see like heavy forest, but there's a pocket, a lot of it's because you cannot get in there. It's swamp, like in Georgia, the Okefenokee swamp. Yep. But it's these kinds of things that should completely convince any scientist that these things are real. Just this. Any scientist watching this should go, yep, that cannot be spurious information.
Well, you think it would give them chills immediately seeing these
Well, it can't be spurious data. It just isn't. No. It shows a living population.
Yeah.
So that's just the way it is. And that's why I spend so much time on this mystery. Because, you see things like this. Everything you see like this convinces you more that they're real, not less.
John is saying I need to buy you a show cup.
Yeah, you can go on the Untold Radio site and you can buy me an Untold Radio cup. I've got one. But the problem is I got to wash them, or I'll leave it here. And then it's got like dehydrated purple crap in the bottom.
Yeah.
And I can't get it out. So these cups are so environmentally friendly. I rinse them out, drop them in the recycling bucket. And about 100 of these cups would equal one water bottle cap in plastic. About 100 of these. That's what I figured. Telling you. Okay. So what else we got going on here? Okay, you can pull that damn thing down. So I also want to announce we've got 2 new podcasts, joining the Untold Radio Network. One is kind of, maybe you could say, well, it's not that new. We're going to do Untold Radio Network Coffee Time. And that's going to be a morning show for all you early morning people. So I think that'll be pretty cool. And of course, you know what I just got? I swear to God, I should take a picture. Google sign in. I have to continue.
Oh, no.
To use my computer. Do you believe this? And you keep telling, every week you say, I'm going to get in there and I'm going to fix it, right? The whole audience is my witness. You say that every week.
Tell you what. If you're cool, I'll go on your computer after the show. And
you said that last week too.
Yeah.
Oh, I just see.
And eventually, one of these weeks, it'll be true.
I already just screwed it up because I put my password in as the email address. So I already messed it up. So I'll fix it there.
If after the show, if you can just put your password in a notepad doc, and
this is going to be a running joke, Alex. It'll be a running joke. Okay, we're going to try this now, and let's see. Of course. Oh man, I hate this. It's like.
Yeah, no pressure. We're just live.
No, I'm not. No, it doesn't matter. It's entertaining.
By the way, while you're doing that, do you want me to
entertaining everybody?
Do you want me to put in the intro for the
no? Well, no. I'm back up on. I got it. It took my password.
Cool.
Okay, so 2 new podcasts. One's the Untold Radio Coffee Time, and that's gonna do all sorts. We're gonna have all sorts of cool stuff on there. I'm not even gonna. People can check and tune it in. But it's a morning show. Live morning show, so you can come in the morning, have coffee with us. I'll be on the first show, and then it'll be rotating people. So a lot of our staff too will be on there, so it'll be cool. So then we have a brand new Bigfoot podcast called the Sasquatch Outpost with host Jim Myers, who runs the museum down in Bailey, Colorado. But he is a true horseman, true outfitter. He's a major Bigfoot researcher. He's also, excuse me, the first guy to get reports in Colorado in many cases.
He's the real deal. Yeah,
this gal put out a good show. His show, don't quote me on it, but I believe it starts on Valentine's Day. And I believe they're going to do it on Bigfoot Love.
So I think we're pushing out one more week. I think.
Oh, you are?
The show's going to be on the 21st. I have it written down here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we wanted to do that. It's just there was some scheduling stuff.
Sure. Yeah, right. Okay, I got you. No. So why don't we play the open for the Sasquatch Outpost? Give people a little bit of a taste.
Yeah, and this is the first show is the 21st at 7 p.m. of February.
Cool. And I think people love the show. If you're hungry for Bigfoot information, it's the way to go. So I'm going to.
Here we go. What?
That was the ending, dude. That was the outro, not the intro. There you go. So, to the person who said, why do intros always have to be so aggressive? They'll love this intro for coffee time. It's the absolute opposite.
You ready?
Yeah, this is for the coffee time, right? Yeah. It's a little weird.
All right, here we go.
All right.
There's a place I have found in the shade on the ground, far from all worries and troubling sound. When I go there to be by myself, only me. No one can guess what I came there to see. There's a sun in the sky, there's a cloud drifting by. All kinds of birds make you wish you could fly. And in the distance I see someone waving at me. I hope that it's you, but who else could it be?
So you're probably wondering how I got all those Bigfoot stole those coffee cups.
It's a miracle.
Yeah, it was a miracle. It was hard. Anyhow, that's going to be, that one's certainly not aggressive.
Oh, it's nice. It's fun.
Some people like the energy, some don't. Everybody has their own taste.
Yeah,
Definitely wake you up. Anyhow, so those are some new concepts. But what's really cool about the Sasquatch Outpost podcast, it's really about doing research on horseback. So much of it will be, which is Roger Patterson and Bob Gimlin, and they do have a lot of activity. It's pretty amazing. So
and what do you think that is? Is because it helps cover the scent,
the sound, it's everything. Yeah. They might think it's an elk. Who knows?
It's smart though. It's unique. Not a lot of people get to, go researching on horseback.
Right. No, it's pretty cool. So anyhow, welcome Jim to the network, and all the contracts are signed and the ink is barely dry, and we've got all of his materials put together and ready to go. So we're excited. I think it'll be a great show.
Absolutely.
So what else here? I've got to open up my notes again because, as you know, they closed. So what else we got here? I don't think much. We've got a few clips, I guess. Let's get into that for some of my clip picks of the week. Nothing terribly special, but some weird ones, I guess.
All right, here we go.
Can you imagine being out deer hunting and a deer walks right up to you and you put the muzzle right up to its nose and it just looks at you like it wants to get petted? This happened to a guy and it's just crazy. I think there was something chasing it. It was more afraid of whatever was in the forest than that dang hunter with the gun. And obviously the deer sensed the hunter had a soft heart anyhow, which he did. He did not shoot the deer and he just petted it. Pretty crazy. You got to see this. Clip one. He goes, this is by far the craziest thing I've ever seen. Yeah, I can imagine. So here come these deer. A little panicked. Coming out of the forest. He sees this guy standing there and goes, makes a beeline right to him. He's got his shotgun aimed right. He's got a slug in that shotgun aimed right at its nose. And the guy's like, oh, okay.
Oh my God.
And he's cracking up like, this is crazy. Don't you think that something was making that deer afraid, Alex?
Yeah, I mean, to just run up to him like that.
I mean, that's not normal behavior.
No.
And the way it just totally defies that gun and, and just looks, and, it's not even looking at him. It's like, oh, and the guy pets it. It's just crazy. Okay, enough of that. Yeah, so clip 2, this one I found interesting because I never thought of a horse doing this to this person, the way it got its revenge. The woman's trying to do a selfie. I don't know the relationship of this woman with the horse, but there's an old, what do they call that phrase? Whack F. You ever seen the Whack F videos? You know what the F means?
Yeah.
And this reminds me of that. Would have been a perfect Whack F. But her silence says it all, how bad it hurt.
Oh.
And imagine she's like fat lips, probably, busted nose. God knows that thing really whacked her. So, you're not, you think you're safe. Animals can be unpredictable. So, enough of that poor thing. It hurt. Don't do selfies with horse faces because they can do that. Okay. This next animal, I swear to God, I spent 2 hours trying to find to truly identify this thing. So it was identified in the thing as a horse-tailed turkey ostrich from New Zealand. I'm not buying it because I typed that in, searched everywhere I could. Maybe somebody in the audience, if they find it in the future, can put it in the comments. What in the hell is this bird? And when you first look at it, you're going to be like a little confused. But the bird is actually, its beak is aiming to the left, screen left, when you're watching it. And once you see it, then you're like, oh, I get it. So it's got this really long thing hanging down in it's weird. It's just the weirdest bird I've ever seen. Clip 4. Turn the volume up. Do you see its beak up in the air on the left side now?
Yeah.
And that thing is part of its chest that's hanging down. What the heck? Isn't that the weirdest looking thing?
So bizarre.
So its feet are facing forward. And it's got its tail up in the air. Yeah. Do you see its head now, Alex?
Yeah.
Its eyes? That's just, what in the world was God thinking the created this thing? You would think that thing would just be, it looks like it's dragging in the dirt, right?
Yeah, it does.
I mean, it looks like some old guy's testicles.
I mean, I wasn't going to say it, but.
Yeah. Oh, well, I did. Sorry. Anyhow, I use this scientific term. Okay. Next one, another kind of painful clip. I'm not attracted to these, but I think they might, they might teach somebody, don't do this. Don't mess with huge dead branches above your head, ever. Because what happens with big dead branches, they come down. Look at this clip. It's just insane. This guy gets nailed so bad. So these guys are thinking they're just going to jump up and get it. Oh, he got it all right. It's about broke his friend's neck doing it. I mean, a thing like that can weigh 100 pounds. Oh man, he got nailed bad. He's going to be sore. He'll be visiting the chiropractor.
Oh, you could almost say his friend is a pain in the neck.
Yeah, look at that. Oh, jeez. Okay, enough of that. Okay, clip 5. I don't know why. I was kind of weirded out by this. I have a new fear of kangaroos after this. I am now officially afraid of kangaroos. After seeing this clip, I went, no, I'm not going to go. I'm not going to say when I get to Australia, can you take me to go see the little cute kangaroos? Check this clip out. Let's watch this. Look at this dude. He's massive.
He's posturing.
And he's flexing, and he's sitting on that tail like it looks like a weapon.
It
looks like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, he's posing.
Look at that thing. Look at the biceps on him.
I know. And he's like way taller when he stands up.
Oh, man, he's a big dude. Enough of that. So anyhow, I'm officially afraid of kangaroos now. I'm going to have kangaroo nightmares. Okay, so clip 6 is kind of weird. Once again, it's kind of one of these, might even be disturbing to some people. Clip 6. But this dog goes for a ride like I've never seen. And he just sticks his landing. I mean, he just sticks it. Just bam, perfect. Then he goes back for more. And he gets it again.
Well, like
so I just thought, well, maybe they're friends. Maybe they're buds. And this is what they do.
Why would he do it again?
Yeah.
Oh no.
And I don't think the bull or the cow was trying to hurt it.
No.
Because he could have, jabbed it, and he didn't. He just flipped it.
Yeah.
Dog flipping, it's
like
called officially.
Like a pancake.
Dog flipping, yeah. Yep. Anyhow, yeah, I just love how the dog stuck a perfect landing though every time. Okay, so speaking of unexpected flights, this poor duck takes a very, very unexpected quick flight. So you don't want to have, if you're a duck, don't sit on an air-powered fountain like in Vegas, or they might have at a zoo. Don't sit on those air-powered fountains.
Ooh.
Once again, perfect landing. The duck just sticks it, man. It's like not a problem. He's embarrassed a little bit. Wouldn't you be embarrassed if you were that duck?
Yeah, I'd probably be more than embarrassed. Look at that thing just blow.
Definitely that's a duck with a clean butthole. Okay, that's enough of that. Clip 8. Now, in your wildest dreams, if you're trying to take a tower down, you don't want it to hit anything, right? You want it to go the opposite direction of any buildings, houses, cars. Well, this guy takes out a semi-truck, or this group of guys. I think they're Russian. And they've got this big giant, it's a old steel or water tower. And they take it down, and yeah, you cannot believe it. You couldn't do better aim. I mean, this is not a little tower. No better aim when you see what this does. You can put the volume up. It's really good with the volume. There you go. Sounds like at our office, Alex.
These guys are clearly pros.
Yeah, oh yeah, they know what they're doing until the ending.
And it's like, oh no.
They didn't know which way that thing was going to go.
Oh no.
There goes the EPS truck, gone.
Like the whole field is empty.
It's like a cube van, I guess. I thought it was a semi. It's a cube van. But that cube van is flat.
Yeah.
There's nothing left of it. So let's play that one more time. We can hear all the audio. See, they're telling them, pull it that way. And God, they have no idea what's going to happen. Because they start booking, they're like, I need to tell you the story of Alan, who bought a chainsaw one time at a garage sale. I could even maybe fit it in. No, I can't. We're too late. Nice catch, Alex. Anyhow, okay, clip 9. I didn't know it was that late. Clip 9. This was interesting because I didn't even know this. You see all these black dots on your windshield silk screened on?
Yeah.
You've seen this, right?
Yeah, I've seen those.
Everybody's got them. Well, that's called the frit, the black thing, the black line. But the problem is because it's black, it'll heat up from the sun really quick. So they put those dots to gradually dissipate the heat so you don't get cracked windshields. To cool it down. So it slowly absorbs in those dots and then gradually gets cooler so you don't have broken glass. Because apparently, because I've had windows explode that didn't have those back in the old days. Like in about 98, I bought a new Durango and the window exploded. Didn't have those dots painted on it. Just exploded one day from the sun on a hot day. So there you go. Untold information. Nobody knew that.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I don't know what they were there for.
I doubt anybody did. Okay, clip 10. I want to talk about Turkey. Obviously, it's really tragic, and I don't want to talk about bummer, but, they're just not nobody can really comprehend the tragedy that's going on in Turkey. It's just the cities have been flattened, High rises have come down by the thousands. The buildings that are left are completely unsafe. There's people trapped in rubble, probably maybe 10, 20,000, 30,000 people right now trapped in rubble, and they have a snowstorm. They can't even get to them. It's beyond. You have to realize everybody needs to appreciate where they are right now in their life.
Yeah.
Take a deep breath and appreciate the moment that you have right now. That's you're safe and your family's safe. Because let's just show a clip. I don't want to bum anybody out, but I mean, just the cities are this is early on because they basically had two earthquakes. They had one 7.5 or whatever, then 7.9, which is huge. So that building had no warning that there was anything going on. They collapse. And buildings that look perfect right now are still collapsing. Right now, they're just collapsing. So there's nowhere to go. You can't even camp out near a building.
Yeah, what do you do?
That's really bad.
Go?
I would imagine there's been a lot of poor construction. I've been to Turkey. The people there, by the way, are awesome. Actually, I got treated medically in Turkey from a kidnapping. And I was treated like just a king over there, and they literally saved my life. So, yeah, it's an incredible.
Bad what's happening?
Yeah, it's an incredible country in a lot of ways. The people are great. Don't deserve this. So anyhow, you can show one more clip. 10A shows what goes on inside from a 7.9 earthquake. To give you an example of how unsettling this would be. I don't know if you have that clip. 10A.
Yeah, I'm pulling it up.
Yeah. So this is what it would look like inside. I mean, even trees were coming down all over, everywhere, outside. Old trees were just tipping over everywhere. It was really shaking. I was in one earthquake in Reno, Alex. That was probably a 6, but it was really brief, 5 or a 6. I was sitting on a couch I was up in a high rise in Reno. And I was sitting on this couch, and I thought a semi-truck hit the building. I flew off the couch. I just flew off.
You just flew off.
Flew off the couch, and then we, of course, ran down to the lobby like, we figured there was a semi-truck hit the hotel or whatever, and they said, no, we were just in an earthquake. And there were aftershocks that were quite small during the whole rest of my trip. It's quite unsettling. But the buildings there the one I was in was designed to sway. And boy, it swayed quick enough to throw me off a couch. So, yeah, or they're not fun if anybody's not been in an earthquake. All right, let's get on with our show here. Let's, I can read a little bit more about Craig. Craig, I would imagine, is backstage.
Yeah, he is.
I stole this bio from the She Squatchers when he did an appearance there. So thank you, Jen, for that. Just thought I'd let you know if you wrote it up. So it says Craig's interest in cryptozoology started early before he was 10 years of age. The case of the Lake Worth monster in the summer of 1969 hit close to home for him as a young boy. He said that he was reading of the John Keel classic Strange Creatures from Time and Space, and that obviously got him really, into the topic. And then The Legend of Boggy Creek came out when he was 13. That movie freaked everybody out for some reason.
The Boggy Creek movie?
Yeah, I think it was the hand coming through the glass or something, trying to grab some babysitter.
Yeah, it had an impact.
Yeah, it was actually done really well. So his reality came crashing down on Memorial Day of 1994 when he witnessed what he can only describe as a light-colored Bigfoot while driving in central Louisiana late at night. He is the co-founder of the Texas Bigfoot Research Center in June of 1999, started hosting the Texas Bigfoot Conference in 2001, which is a huge conference. And that takes place in the Piney Woods of Texas in Jefferson. Then in 2009, the Texas Bigfoot Conference hosted probably the most prestigious speaker ever. I have no idea why he was the most prestigious speaker. It was Peter Matheson, an American novelist, naturalist, wilderness writer, Zen teacher, and CIA official. That happened in October of 2021. Craig's obviously proud he was there. I wouldn't even know who he was. That's how illiterate I am. We'll get into it. But Craig, if you're listening to me, which I'm sure you are, we're not going to bog down in stuff like this. We're going to get to Texas environment and what in the heck's going on, why there's so many Bigfoots in Texas. Come on, Craig.
Howdy,
there he is.
Howdy.
Hey.
Long time no see.
Yeah, it's been a while, Doug. We shouldn't wait this long.
No, I know. We're getting old, Craig.
Boy, that ain't no joke.
No, it's not.
And getting old ain't for sissies, you know?
No, it's not. Not at all. So,
take that
Texas,
to heart, Alex. Take that to heart.
Yes. Oh, yeah. See, at that age, you have no worries. You think you're going to live forever. Everything's going to be great. You're not going to realize that you're going to scream in pain every time you get off the couch.
That's right.
When
you start making those old man sounds when you stand up.
Yeah, me and Yvette were getting ready to go out the door, and it sounded like a kung fu fight. I heard her just kind of moan, in the other room. And I'm like, oh. Anyhow, so let's talk about Texas in the enormous amount of Bigfoot sightings down there.
Well,
and why?
Well, Texas is a big state, and it you can drive from the very eastern part, from Texarkana to El Paso. I think you can drive from El Paso to Los Angeles faster than you can drive from Texarkana to El Paso.
That's perspective.
That's how far apart, how wide the state is at that point. I believe it's over 800 miles between those 2 points, and so it's closer to the West Coast. I know, you can drive from the very northern part of Texas to Chicago quicker than you can from the very most southern part of Texas to North Texas. But people, when they think about Texas, for the most part, they probably think about, from the 80s and 90s, the show Dallas with, JR and all that, think of, the ranches and, the arid western part of the state with the tumbleweeds and all that. But, the eastern third of the state is very forested and a lot of rainfall. And, going back to the respected Sasquatch researcher and author John Green, his I guess theorized that Sasquatches were much more prevalent in areas where you have 20 or more inches of annual rainfall, and in some areas of far east Texas, for instance, out there where I live, you're talking 50 to 60 inches of annual rainfall, which, is.
But why is that? Why is it? Texas is still pretty flat. Why do you get so much rainfall on the eastern side?
I couldn't tell you that. I'm not a weatherman or a forecaster, but, it's just that there's a ton of rainfall. I live up in an area called the Piney Woods. We have the Big Thicket down in southeast Texas, heavily forested. And, the three things you need for any wildlife, as being a wildlife guy and, photographer and videographer and filmographer, you have to have a food source, you have to have water, and you have to have cover. And all of those three things are abundant in East Texas, did Doug disappear?
No, you're just full.
I'm just
you're
full
just
camera
full
now.
screen.
Oh, okay.
We like
Boy,
to highlight our
You're the
guests. No,
center. You're
I'm
the
the
center
center
guy.
of attention. Yeah,
Um,
we have, a ton of rainfall. We have a ton of, piney woods out there, and many, many food sources. And, so all of those things are, what all animals need. And therefore it's, the 4-state region where the 4 states come together. Um, Northeast Texas, Southeast Oklahoma, Southwest Arkansas, and Northwest Louisiana. That whole 4-state region. There are many, many, many Bigfoot sighting reports from that area. And once again, in Southeast Oklahoma, you have, and in Arkansas, you have the Ouachita Mountains. You've got a mountain range. You've got plenty of trees. Water sources, rivers, creeks.
well,
streams.
back up, Craig. You said mountain range.
Yes, sir.
Talk about it.
Well, in Oklahoma and Arkansas, there where they come together, you have a mountain range and a lot of Bigfoot reports in those areas, and so many, in fact, that in Southeast Oklahoma, there are whole towns, kind of tourist towns that are kind of Bigfoot themed, as Hochatown and Idabel. Idabel, we have a Sasquatch themed gas station called Gas Squatch, that an entrepreneur friend of mine owns. That's a Sasquatch themed convenience store and gas station there in Southeast Oklahoma. There's just a lot of areas where a long history of Bigfoot sightings. Where I live and host a lot of my events in Jefferson. It's now been, back in 2018, the mayor signed a town proclamation that Jefferson, Texas was the Bigfoot capital of Texas. And so now in town, we have a Bigfoot statue there prominently in town. And most of the restaurants have, some type of Bigfoot named item on the menu, Bigfoot burger, Sasquatch sandwich, all kinds of stuff. And a lot of the like souvenir shops and the general store, and then there in town have, Bigfoot t-shirts and hats and other things, trinkets and stuff that, souvenir stuff that, tourists looking for that kind of stuff when they come to town.
Are people shy about reporting Bigfoots, do you think, in Texas like they are here in Minnesota?
Well, I think that, the TV shows, MonsterQuest, Mysterious Encounters, shows that you've been involved with and such, has brought that, forefront to the public, and the general public has great interest in those things. The Finding Bigfoots, Expedition Bigfoot, like I said, MonsterQuest, Mysterious. What was the autumn show? Was it Mysterious
Encounters? Yeah, you remember that, huh?
Yeah,
you were involved in that show, as I remember.
You sent a crew down. You sent a crew down in. I think for MonsterQuest, you sent a crew down to the 2005 Bigfoot conference.
Yes.
I think you
interviewed Kathy.
Strain,
yes.
Kathy Strain down there for one of your. For maybe for a MonsterQuest. I'm not sure.
It was a MonsterQuest.
Yeah. So I mean, the town has really embraced it. Here's a fun fact that hasn't been publicly released yet, but not this weekend, but next weekend is Mardi Gras, which I don't know you Yankees if you know what Mardi Gras is. But
yeah, I've been to one.
Yeah, have in New Orleans.
I have no desire to go back from I remember the overpowering smell of vomit on the streets.
Well, yeah, vomit and urine and alcohol. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
But anyway, we have a pretty big
knows
Mardi
it.
Gras. a Mardi Gras celebration in Jefferson, there where I live.
Ah,
And this year, the theme, it has a different theme every year. Last year was steampunk, but this year is mythology madness is the official theme. And the mayor and his wife, and they're actually doing a Bigfoot themed float for the Mardi Gras parade. And as a matter of fact, I'm actually going to be the grand marshal in the parade, wearing a Sasquatch costume that I just recently purchased from Amazon.
oh God.
So I'm going to be the grand marshal of the
Yes.
Mardi Gras parade in a Sasquatch costume, waving, sitting on the back of the convertible, waving and throwing beads and candy to the people there at the parade.
I put a Bigfoot suit on for 2 seconds and God, get me out of here. It's claustrophobic. Have fun. Craig.
Yeah, well, I got the actual, they on Amazon they sell, among others, but it's the Jack Link's messing with Sasquatch costume.
Ah, gotcha.
Did you know?
I'm still telling you, good luck.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I don't have to wear it for hours on end, but I'm sure I'll be doing photo ops and such. But the guy that actually in the Jack Link's messing with Sasquatch commercials was the same guy in that suit that wore the Sasquatch suit in my good friend Eduardo Sanchez's film Exists, which in my opinion is the best Bigfoot movie ever made. But same guy in that suit for his movie, and he wore that. That was 4 weeks of filming down in near Austin, Texas in the summer. And that guy was in that suit for 4 weeks filming that movie. So I asked my buddy Ed, I said, where's the suit? He said, what suit? By the time we were through filming, it was held together with duct tape and basically just disintegrated after 4 weeks of filming out there in the heat.
Well, let's get back to the environment here. People have been reading some of the comments.
Yeah.
People talking about the huge populations of hogs, deer. Do you think the hog invasion has really fueled the Bigfoot population? Possibly as just a big food source.
I don't know for a fact, but I know that they are a food source. I took probably one of the most interesting reports I ever investigated was a gentleman that was out hog hunting up in a tree stand in Panola County, Texas. And he was in a tree stand and he saw something caught his eye out of the corner of his eye that he said was, a Sasquatch that was crouched down a pretty good ways away from him. I think he said about 40 or 50 yards anyway. And it had in its sights, there were a couple of hogs that he was, the guy was planning to shoot, but this Sasquatch had other intentions. And actually, these things are a master of cover and camouflage. I personally don't ascribe anything like cloaking or anything that some people do, but I just think, just like white-tailed deer are able to blend into their surroundings and appear to disappear, but this thing was crouched down and was basically leaping from tree to tree to try to remain unseen, and actually grabbed this one hog and picked it up and slammed it repeatedly against the tree to kill the hog. And then, basically just threw the hog over its shoulder and left with it. And he said it was very chilling to him because he didn't feel that, he had a big enough gun that if he needed to defend himself or anything, that he could have taken it down. But he said that as it walked away with the hog, that it looked up over its shoulder directly at him up in his tree stand and let out the most blood-chilling scream, yell, howl, whatever you want to call it. He stayed up in that stand for a couple of hours after that. He wasn't in a hurry to get out of there, but he wasn't in any hurry to get out of that tree.
Did he actually see this thing leaping up in the canopy of the tree? Tree?
It was on the ground.
Oh, okay.
It was on the ground, leaping and hiding behind the trees.
Oh, gotcha.
To sneak up on the hogs.
But would it actually leap and then get behind a tree really quick?
Yeah, it would leap like from tree to tree.
How far do you think? Did he tell you how
far
were the leaps?
He described them as very far. I mean, I'd have to pull up the report, but I'm thinking he talked like 20 to 30 feet apart.
Yeah, I mean that's a super ability.
Yeah, and I took another report from a guy who was actually a deputy sheriff that he investigated a report. He and his dad, who was a Dallas policeman, retired at the time, but this gentleman was in East Texas, and he and his dad went out to this guy that had reported to him that a Sasquatch had come and actually grabbed 2 of his hogs out of his pen, and with one hog under each arm, and just stepped over the fence and left with them. And, as a matter of fact, thinking back on the legend of Boggy Creek, I think one of the gentlemen in there was telling a story about something that had come and grabbed 2 of his hogs and took them off. And the feral hogs are widely reported as a food source for these things. So that very well could be, because I mean, there is, like you said, an explosion of these feral hogs, that people are welcome to just shoot on sight because they're so invasive and tearing up farmland and crops and such.
Have the feral hog population, has it continued to grow, and will it continue to grow, do you think?
Oh yeah, I mean it's exploding. I mean it's growing exponentially, and like I said, even with hunters and farmers and ranchers and whoever that is able to shoot them at will, there's still an increase in the hog population, and so a very readable food source for these things, and that very well could be bringing more of them in, or helping with their increase in population, even maybe not just by bringing more in, but more of them being born, raised, and heading out on their own. I mean,
how wary are hogs for hunting? Are they extremely wary of people, or are they? So if they see a person, do they dart? Do they run?
Well, they will run off, but they will also, they run in packs. So, I feel that, they do just like people, there's safety in numbers. And,
right.
If they have, if there's a pack of them, I don't even know what the correct term is for crows. It's a murder of crows, or a flock, or a pack, or a herd. I don't know what it is for feral hogs, but they are very temperamental, and the thing about those is you don't want to get into a situation where you're charged by them, because those boar hogs with those tusks are razor sharp, and they'll have no problem trying to to tear you up with them. There's been hunters that have been killed by, having a femoral artery severed by a hog's tusk.
Well, maybe the Bigfoots taunt them to get them to charge, and they just grab them and tear them in two.
Yeah, a Bigfoot, obviously from the stories I've heard, would have no problem, just picking one up and swinging it and, pounding its head against a tree or whatever to decimate it. But that is a problem with there's even been, I've seen recent news video of, feral hogs even invading into suburban neighborhoods, roaming down the street in neighborhoods with 2 or 3 hogs, not that far from, actually Dallas, but they're becoming such a problem.
So, I see we have Texas Jack in here. Yeah, we appreciate Texas Jack. If you're listening, could you or somebody look up why is there so much rain in eastern Texas? I really want to know that. Why is it arid in one part and wet as heck in the other part? Really curious. Is it the ocean currents?
Yeah, I don't know.
The
I'm
Gulf?
sure it's the wind. What do they call that? Since I've had COVID twice, my short-term memory is not great, and nor is my ability to grasp words that I can, I know and can think, but I have a hard time thinking of what the word is. But you have the wind currents and such, that affects weather,
right?
And such. But I really don't know. But like I said, there's a wide variance of the terrain in Texas. From the western part of the state,
right. Yep.
where it's very arid and flat and dry. But there are still waterways. Where there are every now and then reports of Sasquatch out, even in the arid parts of East Texas, that are, traveling the waterways, probably not sticking around for long, but, the old saying from the legend of Boggy Creek, they always travel the creek.
So why do this is something so interesting too, because we're getting more and more GIS data, more and more data on the fact that the sightings happen so close to water. They just seldom are 500 yards away.
Right.
They're right there. They're water apes.
Well, they have to drink water. I've heard stories of people even seeing them, enter waterways, enter a creek or, a stream or a river that may, be deep enough to swim underwater. That I've heard reports of them, swimming, like like a frog or whatever,
swimming, doing the
underwater.
breaststroke. Yep. I've heard that
underwater. Too. And I've even heard stories, and it's made me think of things, but heard stories where one has, disappeared below the water's surface, and these people did not see it resurface. It may have just been able, I'm sure it can, they could swim really fast. I mean, they're supposed to run really fast, could swim really fast. But, something I've thought about with them like that disappearing, is what if, they're around the waterways and, a theory I have, which, it's just a theory, but, what if they lived in like, say alligators do in the water, where they, make a den under the surface of the water and, dig up above the water level and had, an area where they could, rest or whatever that was concealed, by the terrain, and the entrance was under the water. Like I said, I've gotten reports from people.
Right. We're definitely getting some really good explanations as to why Eastern Texas is so wet. I think Pat Collins was the first. He says, Doug, the Gulf Stream and the currents from the Gulf of Mexico make wet weather more favorable in East Texas. And then there was another one here. Most of the rivers, this comes from Doyle, and it says most of the rivers are tidal rivers, steering currents being tropical moisture up the river like a tropical storms and hurricanes. They head to the cooler outflow. That's interesting. Of the Neches, and how do you say that? Neches River?
Neches River.
Neches, yeah.
Neches. Yeah, there are a lot of rivers, in East Texas there. The Sabine, the Red River, the Sulphur River, the Neches, and many, many reports, from those areas around those. And, with the temperate, weather conditions there with the rain, that's going to, create more bodies of water. That's going to have more, trees and shrubs and undergrowth grow with that rainfall, which, which is going to draw more animals, more reptiles, amphibians, fish, mammals, small mammals, which in turn would draw Sasquatch, to that area from the water sources and the cover. And
are there a lot of fish in the shallow waters and the swamps?
Oh, sure. There's a lot of fish, in the waterways here in Texas. I mean, lots of, a lot of fishermen. And, when we pulled all our data and the many reports we had gotten and did some stats on it, the two most reported sightings were from hunters, outdoorsmen, hunters, as well as, people drivers. My personal encounter was nothing more than a 7 to 8 second roadside encounter where I saw something that was approximately 7 foot tall, covered with hair, walking parallel to the road that I was driving at about 11:30 at night. No more than 25 feet away from the road, that I saw it in the headlights of my vehicle as I was traveling. And, my girlfriend at the time was with me. We both saw it at the same time in my headlights for, like I said, maybe 7, 8 seconds. And as we passed, we turned to each other and said, "Did you just see what I just saw?" And we agreed we had. And I said, "Well, what do you think you saw?" And she goes, "I think I just saw a Bigfoot." And I was like, "Well, we've got to stop." And she said a few choice words that aren't suitable for the show here, but that she strongly did not want to stop. And so we didn't. We drove a little further, drove through a small town in Louisiana, Bunkie, Louisiana, where I went in, I think it was in January 2014 with the Finding Bigfoot crew, and actually filmed a recreation of the encounter there.
Wow.
With Bobo and I on site. And, this was on May 30th, 1994. And it just, it changed my life. I mean, while I was interested as a kid, I mean, it didn't, as I grew older and into my 20s and 30s, I wasn't that interested in Sasquatch anymore. But once this happened, I mean, this is still 3 years before I was on the internet when this encounter happened. And, when I first got on the internet in the summer of 1997, the first thing I searched for, was, probably using Ask Jeeves or whatever.
Ask Jeeves.
Ask Jeeves was, about Bigfoot in the Texas area. And, there wasn't much out there at that time. There were message boards and forums and such.
I like it.
And started networking with people out there online, and met another gentleman. And I was no outdoorsman or hunter or anything. I was a computer programmer, but I wanted, I wanted to find out what I saw. I wanted to, investigate that. And so we started the research organization and put up a cheesy free Angel Fire. Here's some more internet history. Angel Fire website.
Yes.
Free.
Angel Fire.
Put a a report submission form, and that was Luke Gross is his name, another guy from East Texas. He and I started the organization, and also put up people interested in what we were doing or joined the team, and we got people that were wanting to come and go out and investigate with us. And and we took a lot of reports, and we always tried to go investigate them on site with the witness there to get their story, and again to check out the terrain, see if the terrain was suitable for to support, if not one of these or a family of them living in the area, but that it would be a suitable area for for them to be traveling through to a more wooded area or whatever, or to a water source.
Yeah.
And while I've probably talked to over 300 people over the years, getting close to 35 25 years now, from 1999 when I actively started researching. But and of all of those people I've talked to, I certainly feel that I would say many of them were credible. There's people that have outlandish stories with government conspiracies and extraterrestrials and multidimensional, all kinds of stuff like that. But my personal opinion, and it's only an opinion, I mean, I don't know. I feel that these are, and I think unclassified by science, primate that
I didn't even ask you that question yet, Craig.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm jumping.
You're self-interviewing.
Well, I have done a few of these.
I think so.
He's
I'm
not
just
good.
like,
He's doing your job. And
yeah, he's
Well,
self-interviewing. I know the
job.
deal.
I-
I usually say, whoa.
But yeah, I mean,
Alex, okay, hold on just a second, Craig. Can you put
Sure.
up some of the some of the comments? Doyle Vandewater had an amazing comment. He's
further back.
retired.
I know Doyle. We're
public-
Facebook friends.
Oh, good. Put up his comment on why Texas is weather's like it is. Do you see it up there? You're gonna have to scroll up a little bit, Alex.
Yeah, I'll look for it.
Yeah, but keep putting up some of these more interesting comments.
Yeah,
We're getting
yeah.
some amazing.
Okay, here we go.
We're
That's
getting
Doyle's comment,
amazing.
right?
We can ignore them, but then people can read them, and they're really cool. So thanks, Doyle. So what about wild hog diseases and things? Are they safe for a Bigfoot's not going to cook them?
No.
Are they safe to eat? Are
Well,
humans?
I don't really know what kind of diseases they have. I know
Tuberculosis for one.
Hunters shoot them and
Yeah.
eat, dress them out and get sausage and ham and bacon and
Yeah, I can imagine.
and eat them. I guess they could have worms, or that's always what people think. Pork has worms. I don't know. I guess wild hogs maybe do. I don't know.
I doubt Bigfoot's worried.
I know plenty of people that eat them.
I doubt Bigfoot's worried about worms, but
Yeah,
if they were to eat things that would make them sick, it could be a problem.
sure.
But what's so interesting about these creatures is no doubt they're using natural medicinal trees and leaves and to things to cleanse them of parasites, and probably they probably know how to cure anything they would catch from the forest.
Yeah, probably so. I mean,
It's my guess.
I think these things have, are super intelligent. I mean,
Yeah.
in my opinion, I would think they've got to be at least as as intelligent as higher primates. You would think.
Do you think they're more intelligent than the primates, like gorillas and monkeys and stuff like that?
I don't know. I would think that they are probably, but I mean, they have to at least be at least as intelligent. And that's what I can't understand about people that want to, shoot and kill one, take a specimen. The fact that, if you could look at a chimpanzee in the eyes, or a gorilla or an orangutan, and see the, I feel that you can see, the intelligence, and pull a trigger on one. I mean, I personally don't understand it. I've always been against taking a specimen. I mean, I realize to prove it to science that the quickest, easiest, best way would be with a physical specimen, sure.
Yeah.
But we had a gentleman named Dwayne Schlitter way back in the day, in an interview we did, that he was also interviewed on a multi-part television interview we did, that he was with Texas Parks and Wildlife. He's a celebrated degreed mammologist, and at that time he was serving as the head of rare and endangered species for Texas Parks and Wildlife. And he said in the interview that if they received photographic or video evidence that they could verify that was not hoaxed or doctored or anything, that they would accept that as proving that it was a species, if they could examine that type of evidence. So while the easiest way would be with a physical specimen, if you can prove what you're giving them, photographic or video, and the chain of custody with that, and the actual trail cameras, if you can provide the memory cards where they
I think if they could be sequential stills,
sure,
where there's numerous sequential stills, or good, it's still got to be close up. What we're getting currently would not be good enough.
No, it's not.
It's going to have to be exceptional.
Yeah, it would have to be exceptionally clear. And now with this, the AI stuff, that the digital imagery and stuff, it's going towards, hoaxers are going to adopt that stuff and be submitting videos and photographs that are going to be increasingly realistic. So I think that technology is catching up with these things, as far as night vision and thermal and drones and all this. But
now with these new I don't know if you've heard about these new chips, these ISO chips, they go up to 500,000 ISO, which means you can film in color in total darkness.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, I've used one. They're amazing.
You need to crank MonsterQuest back up and get some of these drones out there.
Well, we're actually gonna bring one up to Snellgrove.
Awesome. Is there anything still going on up there? I know that.
I don't know. We're gonna go in August.
One of the most, that had to be the most popular MonsterQuest episode was the Snellgrove with the DNA trap there at the front door of the cabin.
It's crazy because they'll throw up people keep pirating them, throwing them up, but they'll get like 11 million views.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa. So anyhow, we're going to go up and film a Hajicek, low budget version, but I think I can produce a nice, it's a pretty slick piece from up there, and that's going to happen in August. And the nice thing is I'm going to go up and film it. We're bringing a lot of cool equipment, but we're going to go up and film it. I'll come back. I'll get to work editing. I'll have it out within 2 weeks after I get back.
Really? Well, is there still progress with the Sasquatch Legend Meets Science?
Yeah, there is, but COVID put a huge damper in everything. And then
who did?
And then COVID. Just COVID stopped all that.
Okay.
Yeah, COVID did. Screwed the networks up so bad. I can go on and on. Then we had IMAX was looking at the project. That killed a bunch of time for me.
Right.
And still, I haven't had that last conversation with them yet. But they were actually, considering doing an IMAX 3D on Legend Meets Science, which would have been really cool.
Oh, that'd be very cool. I know that, we got that.
But Craig, well, let me ask you, just let me interrupt you. Don't you think a Bigfoot IMAX movie, if it was done really scientific and really amazing, it would be the best all-time IMAX movie, maybe the biggest hit ever?
Sure, I think so. I think an IMAX Bigfoot movie, presenting real evidence, real, if you could use, this ISO chip, like I said, the thermal drones, this technology that you could put something together really cool. And, I think that, I think the first Sasquatch Legend Meets Science would have been cool in the IMAX format.
Yeah, I think it would be a big hit. You could probably get Jane Goodall and all sorts of these really cool scientists. I was going to have 24 new categories of evidence tested for this IMAX movie. So anybody who wants to see this in IMAX, I think would be amazing.
Are we still waiting to DNA test that?
Yes, the face print.
The face print from Texas.
Yeah. Yep, and that was an amazing story because
that was cool, the way it happened. I mean,
it was so amazing.
I got the call from those people. I'm not joking. Like 10 days before the Jefferson Bigfoot conference. 10 days. Got that report.
Well, let's back the truck up and tell the story real quick. Family in Texas builds a new home in a very heavily wooded area. They have Bigfoot activity, which they don't know what it is. They're not Bigfoot people. Right. This thing apparently is bothering their home. It ends up looking in the window and pressing its face against the picture window on a sliding door.
Before that happened, the husband had come home late one night and pulled his truck next to his wife's.
I know this story. Yeah, go ahead.
A Chevy Suburban, and he thought that she had left like a dark
grocery bag
on top of the Suburban.
A black grocery bag.
Right, a black grocery bag, because he saw when he pulled up next to it, the Suburban was taller than his pickup, and he saw something dark that looked like it was on top of the Suburban. And so he gets out of his truck. He's parked. The Suburban is to his right, and he's parked to the left of the Suburban, and he sees that like on the right side of the roof of the Suburban. So he gets out of his truck, and as he steps out, he sees this thing coming around the back.
Yeah, the grocery bag. The grocery bag starts moving.
Right, approaching him very rapidly. Well, he's definitely a gun guy and was packing heat. He had a 9mm, and I think he said he had hollow point bullets in it. And as it approaches him from the back of his truck, rushing him, he levels his gun and pulls off 5 shots, center point at this thing.
Yep.
Center point with 9mm hollow point bullets at this thing. And all it does is take off directly away from his truck. It doesn't drop it. It doesn't, send it back. It doesn't make it stumble, because he thinks it's just a homeless person or something like that. He has no frame of reference for what it is. And it runs off into the woods. And his family came out on the front porch when they heard these gunshots, and he told them to get back in the house. And so they go back in the house. He goes in the house. They, later that night, he assumes whatever it is came back and was actually beating on the side of his house, on the outside walls of his house.
Yeah.
He called his father, who I think was retired law enforcement that lived about 30 minutes away, to come out there. They came out and looked around and didn't see anything, but about I'm trying to think how long ago that happened. That when they actually,
that was a couple of years ago, 3 years ago,
they
3 years ago.
Actually contacted me was when they found what they thought was it was on their back kitchen, on the back door of the house. It was a glass storm door, a glass door, and they saw a greasy, what looked to them like a face print, but it was
which is
7
right,
feet
which
long.
is what? Okay, well, I'm going to back up here a little bit.
Okay.
It was literally weeks before that. I had put out a little one sheet
About
on this material, this white skin sebum,
right.
which I knew was different than regular sebum because first time I put it into words, I worked with Shelley Covington, Montana,
right.
and she named it Sasquatch albavernix.
Right.
But it was the fact that it was not normal sebum. It was thicker, waxier.
Well, wasn't that on a? Well, it was in I'm sorry to interrupt. In a Finding Bigfoot episode where they found a greasy handprint on a glass door in Florida. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, this is all after I came out with my stuff.
Right.
Expedition Bigfoot wasn't even filming yet.
Right.
So the idea is, it hit me one day that this sebum is different. This is not. For years, I've been looking at what they call greasy fingerprints or dusty fingerprints on windows.
Right.
So many people called them dusty. One day I realized when you couldn't even wipe it off of like a camera trap, that we got one to handle a camera trap that we put on the ground. You couldn't even get it off. And then everything flooded into me and I'm thinking, oh, this is something different here. This is totally different. It's harder to get off.
They were dusty because they were greasy and the dust was
stuck to it.
Stuck to the grease.
But the actual sebum itself is already white. So even ones that aren't dusty are already a grayish white. It's like a wax. And I can add something new to this too, new information. But anyhow, this all came out and then lo and behold, bam. It's Shelley and who's, oh God, why can't I think of
Waldy.
Michael, yeah. A friend, and I've got COVID brain too here.
Yeah.
So Michael immediately calls me and he's like, damn, we just found this thing. And then the homeowner was so nice. He gave the whole plate glass window to you guys to bring down to your conference.
Yeah,
for them
Michael went and retrieved.
Yeah, the whole window.
And I was like, well, the wheels started turning when this investigation was going on. I was like, man, you think that the homeowner would let us have the piece of glass? I mean, I don't even want to, to like lift a fingerprint off of it. I want to, I'll be happy to buy him a new piece of glass for his door if he'll just.
Oh, Michael's here. Michael, okay, hold on just a second. I'm going to interrupt again. Michael, you're in the audience. Could you give us permission to put that picture up of the face print? Anyhow, we'll see if he responds. And
is he in the chat? Is he there?
Yeah, he's in chat.
Oh.
Yeah, there he is.
Yeah.
So Michael, can we put that picture up? You can just give me permission. I can get it to Alex. It's just amazing, the face print. And what can be done is, like they did with the Shroud of Turin, we can actually reverse it out and do a 3D. So he said that'd be awesome. So let me, oh man. Michael, can you text that image to me? This is live.
Yeah.
So if you could text it to me, he's got my number.
It's not Memorex.
No, I mean, I have it on my Facebook page, I think, but it's like, I might have to scroll back 2 years. I should have thought of that. I didn't even think of it. But anyhow, thanks to Michael and Shelley and you and Cliff Brockman, who was there, Shelley's DNA kits and her fingerprint lifting kit that she put together, which is amazing. They not only get all these samples with mass and all the sterilization, but they lifted the whole face print off, and Cliff's got it. What was
so cool, like I said, it was a last minute addition to the conference that Michael brought the glass. We had it set up in a back room behind the stage, and
Did you allow people to come back there and look at it?
I had
so cool.
Michael and another guy that worked with him. His name was Logan Kraft, that went out and interviewed the homeowners, and we showed their interviewed video, and then Michael and Logan talked about it, and then just out of the blue, I said, as a matter of fact, I announced that we've got the glass door here, and Cliff was, like you said, Cliff was
Alex,
there,
put up
Shelley
Doyle's
was there, Michael, and
comment.
we let the people one table at a time go back there in the room and check it out live, with Cliff and Shelley back there, to make sure that nobody tried to touch it or anything, but because it was there, fresh off the homeowner's door, and then after the conference was over, then Shelley and Cliff, actually did the DNA swab and lifted it off the glass. And
let me explain something real quick.
Well, didn't they also film that? The actual
they filmed it too, of course. It's all highly vetted
in your documentary.
Yes, correct.
Project.
But here's the beauty. There should be sloughed off skin cells in the substance so we can get DNA. But what's really cool is every primate, including humans in that category, has a complete different chemical makeup in their skin oil. For instance, humans have cholesterol in ours, but gorillas don't.
Mm-hmm.
There's triglycerides. There's all sorts of different types of waxes. It's very specific per species. So if we can get this analyzed with gas chromatograph, put out the information, then other scientists can collect this stuff pretty easily. It's not hard to get them to touch something glossy or shiny. They seem to have an affinity. They're very tactile, and they'll seem that they'll want to touch glossy stuff. We've been collecting it. See, this is what's cool. It's not hard to collect.
Mm-hmm.
On top of it, you can not only get them to touch the clear acrylic, but you can get them to leave hair samples along with. So not only do you have the whoops and the whirls and all the latent details, which you can't fake, it can take a lot of photography. You have the DNA, and then you've got the skin oil. It's 3D evidence. So I'm very hopeful this may be a breakthrough to get. It isn't going to prove it, but it'll get more scientists involved in it.
Sure.
So that's where I'm excited.
Well, it's obviously evidence that is not digitally manipulated. It's not manufactured, and you'll be able to show that that's the case, that it's it's actual DNA evidence of some living being,
right?
That it's not somebody mixed up some paste or whatever and spread it on the window, or whatever. I mean, it's
here's another thing. I was talking to a zookeeper, and this is new information. No one has ever heard this. I've dug deep. No one knows anything about this.
Mm-hmm.
He was taking care of a number of gorillas, male. I believe they were males. And one day, he only saw this one day. They came out with this whitish, grayish, big bubbles coming out from under their armpits, and they were smearing it all over. And then they rubbed it on the glass, and they could not get it off the glass, just like the Bigfoot thing. And I went ding, 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 ding. It's a cool connection. And I couldn't find that in any literature. There was nothing.
Have you gotten that picture to put up for people yet? Because
I don't. Oh, let me look. I got my phone off. Yeah, I did. I do.
You can,
okay, good. Here, Alex. Let me throw this at you.
Yeah, you're gonna text it to me? Or?
Yeah, it's actually on my one sheet. I forgot that.
Because you can see, you can make out the details that it's a face print. I mean, it's got a lip. It's got the nose. I mean, I don't know how it'll. I mean, in person, to see it in person on the glass was very impressive, because with the right lighting and the right angle of the lighting, I mean, it was undeniable.
It was undeniable. Alex, where would you like me to send this? By the way, your camera's all blurry. What the heck happened?
Oh, okay. So it is blurry for you too. I wonder if my camera's overheating.
Nothing like a camera overheating. It's better when you're.
Yeah.
It's better when I think you're too far away or the autofocus is burned out.
It's because we got these hot topics we're discussing on here.
That's fine. We like you blurry. You look good. You're blurry. Anyhow, how would you like me to send this to you, Mr. Alex?
If you can email it to me, that'd be awesome.
Okay.
Email. It doesn't matter. I'll get it.
Okay. I'll send it to the radio email.
Perfect.
Or no, I don't know. I can't think. I get excited. I'm just like a little kid when it comes to this stuff. I get all excited.
Well, yeah,
and I can't think.
You know, stuff like that is really exciting. I mean, it's like I said, the chain of events that made it possible to, you know, be examined by Cliff Brightman, you know, is you know, just very fortuitous. Wouldn't you agree? The fact that he was there in Texas when we, you know, had it in our possession like maybe a day, and he was able to examine it.
I sent it. You're good, Alex. Don't worry about your camera.
Okay,
You'll have to address it some other day.
Yeah.
Anyhow, what I would do is when you get this, throw it up, and I'll explain. And this is something everybody needs to be on the lookout for. If you're in camp, I don't care if you're in Texas or Canada, and you find a big fingerprint or a big handprint on your car. I've found them on my truck before. I actually listened to this thing messing with the truck, and it left this huge print. It was the same thing, white, waxy. I didn't collect it. This was years ago. I didn't think it had any purpose. But what's so cool about this is people can collect it. So when you see this, just take a lot of photos, swab it, get it in a paper envelope, swab it again for the chemical compounds, swab it for the DNA, and take a lot of photos, seal up those envelopes, and either get them to me or whatever. The point is, don't, save it. That's the key. There we go. So zoom in on that bottom. I only showed the nose print. I didn't actually show the whole face print. It's that bottom one. That's just part of it.
I mean, that's obviously a nose and a mouth.
Yes.
Obviously.
Yeah.
Obviously.
But look at the color of the substance that's left.
Right.
It's a very white.
And that was at 7 feet in height.
Well, what would this waxy stuff do? Obviously, even for us, I would imagine it does the same thing. But like Doyle said, we wash it off. But it would help them grip. It would prevent infections. It would keep the bugs away.
Sure.
It would be a great water repellent, keep their skin healthy, la, 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 la. I think the gripping part. But what if they're adding additional fluid or wax from other glands, like under the armpits, like those gorillas?
Yeah.
Sure.
That's pretty interesting. When I heard that from him, I was like, and he only mentioned it to me because he had seen this. And it just, connected the dots. It's all about dot connection.
He actually contacted you?
Well, he didn't contact. I was in a meeting.
Oh, okay.
In Zubuk. And he was in the meeting, took me aside, I think after Zubuk, and told me this story in private. So it's really interesting. Yep. So anyhow, we'll show the whole thing now, Alex. Yep. So Shelley Covington, Montana named it for us because I knew it needed a term. And somebody else just wrote me the other day and said, why don't you just call it salve? So people can remember it. And I thought, perfect, salve.
Yeah, I like it.
So that's what it's the name now, salve. But it means Sasquatch alba vernix. Alba means white. Vernix is the waxy coating babies are born with. And obviously from Doyle, apparently it's a waxy coating we get on us after we die.
Which is spooky.
And I've noticed, I've been with people that are about to die And I noticed they even look waxy at the point before death. Quite interesting. So, anyhow, enough of that.
Note to self, if you start noticing yourself being waxy.
If you start looking waxy, you need to get to the doctor. Oh, my God.
Well, when are you
okay, now
down?
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Michael just said during swabbing, it was like Vataline wax, whatever that is.
Did he mean Vaseline?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. He said Vataline. Maybe. Who knows? People, the chat's just amazing today. I've never seen so much technical stuff coming over the chat. So keep plopping up the cool ones. Yeah. So anyhow, so what are your thoughts now on this, Craig? To interview you, you're an expert. What do you think
I
about
wouldn't
this?
call myself an expert, Doug.
Well, yeah, you
I
are,
mean,
but
I'm somebody that's been, had an experience in 1994.
yeah, but you've been investigating this and thinking about it, and you're a brilliant man.
Well, sure.
What do you think?
Well, I didn't mean to say sure when you threw in brilliant there, but I have been investigating it for a long time. But, my skills were not in outdoor skills. I mean, my skills were in, tech, IT and in organizational.
Yeah.
And so I formed an organization that had many other pieces that had technical expertise in fields that I did not. From, we had, a trauma surgeon, we had ex-military, we had people with all manner of skills that I did not have, that I just brought them all together to be able to work together as a team to, investigate this stuff, gather evidence, gather reports.
Well, what do you think about this Alba Vernix, though? Do you think this could end up raising the bar
I think
tremendously?
it's definitely something. I mean, like I said, I saw that face print in person on that piece of glass. And, I know that, like I said, they DNA swabbed it. They lifted it off the glass. And I don't even know where that evidence is now. Does Cliff have it? Do you have it?
Cliff has the lifted print.
Right.
And he is storing the actual Alba Vernix and the DNA at the museum right now. But he will get it to me the moment we're ready to gas chromatograph it.
To do the testing.
Yeah, the DNA and the gas chromatograph.
Oh, well, that's very cool. And I mean, like I said, it's just amazing how that whole, the whole event and everything came together fortuitously. The fact that, he was there in Texas. The actual site where this happened was probably no more than 100 miles.
Yeah, it couldn't have been any better for your conference.
From there in Jefferson, it made a very cool addition to the conference for people to actually, no matter who they were or what their skill level or anything, to be able to, file back there and see this piece of evidence that it was not previously announced. I mean, it actually did not come together until about 2 or 3 days before the conference that it was going to be something like that. I mean, it took place that quickly. Like I said, we didn't even get in contact with the people until about 10 days before the conference. And, to go, procure for Michael to take his time and effort and money to go out there and help this homeowner retrieve the piece of glass out of the door. I think they put a piece of plywood in his door until we took the piece of glass.
Michael is one of the hardest working researchers, as is Shelley. They just don't do anything.
Exactly. I mean, Michael and Shelley are both amazing people. Michael is somebody that, when I get a report in East Texas, the first person I contact is him, because he is an outdoorsman and has all those skill levels, something that I don't have. I mean, like I said, I'm a computer programmer, city slicker, but I have contacts like you or, whoever, Meldrum or whoever across the globe that I can contact to get this evidence to and people that can go out there and collect it. And, you know, like I said, not only did it take this homeowner to contact me and for me to take the report and for me to send Michael out there and for Cliff and Shelley to collect the evidence and to get you involved, all of that, you know, that
perfect storm, Craig. Perfect storm.
Yeah. I mean, it's amazing how it happened. And that's the exact way to describe it, as a perfect storm to get a piece of Sasquatch evidence.
Yeah.
And to get
it could be, I mean, that piece of evidence could in many ways be the one big thing that ends up raising the bar big time.
Yeah.
Because we can get the 3D facial reconstruction. We have all these close-up photos. It shows the pores, the sweat pores. We have the skin oil. We have the DNA. And I'm working with a company in Texas, actually, on the DNA.
I mean, it's obvious, like I said, it's not a manufactured piece of evidence. It's not digitally manufactured. It's not hoaxed. I mean...
Well, did you finish telling the story, Craig, about the shooting? I don't think we did.
Oh, well, yeah, basically. I mean, you know, they were freaked out. You know, they put up a bunch of, you know, motion sensor lights around their house. And I think, you know, Michael can weigh in if he's still listening, that he got an update from him. And I think he told me that they decided they were going to sell the house and move away. That the last time he and I spoke, that I asked him if he had checked in with them. And he advised that they had told him that they were selling the house and moving away. That I don't know.
That's the last I heard.
That it was because they were, you know, freaked out about the events, but they were, you know, were definitely selling the house and moving off. But
there was another incident that happened. I think the last straw was this thing leaped into the back of the pickup truck and then jumped out again.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if you'd heard that. I think that's the way I remember it.
Well, is Michael still in there?
Yeah, he's still in chat.
Okay.
We have kind of a who's who in the chat. We've got all these, I would consider them celebrities, Delisle Blackburn, David Ellis, on and on and on. Texas Jack. We've got
very cool.
All sorts of big names in our chat tonight.
Lyle is like my best friend in the world, so I'm glad.
Yeah, I love that guy.
Yeah, he's a great guy, a great musician,
he is.
A great
he
author.
Really is.
He's an awesome dude.
A lot of cool people come from Texas area.
Well, you know,
that whole area.
Not only is everything bigger, it's better in Texas.
Yeah. You know, I really have not had time to explore Texas. You know, I've been down there numerous times, but so many times I have to pass through. I'm going down to A&M University. I'm doing something like that. You know, I don't have time to say, well, I want a week just to explore, but I want to do that soon, maybe this summer.
Well, how about this October? And you can come down and
I got to get down there.
The Texas Bigfoot Conference.
I got to. Okay. I got to come down.
But yeah.
So where do we want? Okay, he said he was challenged the night of the shooting. Doesn't want one of his grown sons attacked. Okay, yeah, it scared him. But they did look for blood. But you know what happened? They rocked the driveway literally the next day.
Yeah.
It was already scheduled to get rocked. So the blood got all covered up by
oh no.
Class 5 rock.
But yeah, you know, like I said, Michael's a great guy, and he's the point of contact with this homeowner, and you know, not only a homeowner but an excellent eyewitness. So they talk very frequently. Like I said, I really haven't had any contact with them since they were actually at the conference that year, and I believe that was that may have been 2020. It may have been 2021. I can't remember. It's been probably 2 years ago, but they were there. They were there, in fact, at the conference, but where I got to meet them in person. But that's the last time I actually had contact with them. I mean, Michael checks in with them, you know, and I'm sure they check in with him if anything happens. So he's definitely the go-to guy on that whole encounter and evidence collection.
So Doyle, why don't you do a private message? I'd love to talk to you more about. It seems like you've got a lot of knowledge on the stuff, so on the wax. So I want to talk to him. So
yeah, I wasn't sure at first when you said Doyle from Texas, because another friend of mine in Lyle's is Doyle Holmes.
Oh yeah, this is
actually has had a really awesome encounter story that he saw a Sasquatch, and I believe he he made a track cast. Another guy from, although I think he may live in Texarkana, Arkansas. Texarkana is actually, it's Texarkana, and that's because half of it's in Texas and half of it's in Arkansas, but he lives up in that area. And he had a pretty amazing encounter and heard something in the water when he was out fishing, I believe. And he ended up at another time actually cast a track, and his name is Doyle Holmes.
Oh, okay. I see we've got Henry B. Mann. We've got Amy Boo here. Amy is doing just amazing things.
The project,
with the press and the Wall Street Journal and the things, their work with Zoo Book. It's just absolutely amazing.
Yeah, she's awesome. Another good friend.
Yeah, no, we've really got quite the who's who in our chat tonight. It's crazy. So, hog populations growing, deer populations growing also, Craig, do you think?
Oh,
just
yeah.
Like here, like in Minnesota, it's out of control.
Yeah, it's out of control. I mean, they're basically, wildlife officials are begging people to shoot hogs. I mean, just because I know Shelley is a big, she likes to eradicate the hogs on her family's property.
It's kind of like the more you kill, the more there are. It's just why is it that they cannot control these things, Craig?
I don't know. I mean, they don't want to to poison them, because that's going to poison other wildlife.
Correct.
I mean, you can trap them or you can shoot them, and you can't really put poison out, because you're going to kill all kinds of things. Plus, end up with more poison than is already there in the water supply. And
well, the good news is for Bigfooters, these wild hogs are moving north, and they're just taking over more states. We've had them up in Minnesota already. I think they've gotten them in Canada even.
Wow,
it's just insane. And there were stories we did, Alex. Remember we did some stuff in like Rome. Wild hogs have taken over Rome.
Yeah,
wow,
everywhere.
Who would think?
Hey, I'll send by Facebook Messenger. I got a cool video that I just found myself. A cameraman that was out there and actually caught an avalanche on film, and at a pretty good distance. And well, I won't say any more than that, but I'll send you the link to that video, Doug, that you can include it in your top 10 if you deem it worthy.
Yeah, very cool. Cool.
It's a very cool avalanche video.
Very cool. So what's the so you have the conference coming up? It's October what?
Well, next coming up is I do this would be the 5th year for my Fouke Monster Festival.
Okay.
Celebrating the Fouke Monster and the Legend of Boggy Creek there in Fouke, Arkansas. And that's coming up April 29th in Fouke. Kind of off topic. I started, and it was pretty popular last year, a Texas UFO convention actually there in Jefferson that people seem to enjoy. But then the Texas Bigfoot Conference is coming up the weekend of October 20th through 22nd of this year. I haven't announced the speakers or anything yet, but still finalizing that list. Shelley will probably be there. Lyle is usually a speaker there, but his band is actually going to be on tour in October. So this is going to be like the first time he's missed it in 8 or 9 years, probably.
How many years have you been doing that conference? The one in Texas?
The very first one, get this, see if the dates jumps out at you. September 15th, 2001. 4 days after 9/11.
Oh, no.
Oh, geez.
That's when the
good
very
timing.
first one was. And it still took place. We had approximately 130 attendees that weekend, 4 days after 9/11. I had some speakers that, of course, weren't able to fly in because airfare. Flights just started back up that Friday, which is amazing to me that 9/11 was on Tuesday, and by Friday they were actually, starting up flights again. But Lauren Coleman wasn't able to come in. And I don't know if you know her, Linda Moulton Howe was scheduled to fly in, and she wasn't able to attend. But
that's crazy.
I had, I'm sure you met him. You knew Dr. John Bindernagel, correct?
Oh God, yes. Oh yeah.
Oh, he was.
Yep, I stayed with him on Vancouver Island. Yeah.
Yeah, he. I have a hard time describing John Bindernagel because of how great, how benevolent, how humble, of a man that he was. That he was just an awesome human being as well as Sasquatch.
Well, you know what? John had that little kid sparkle in him.
Oh yeah,
about the topic. He would just. I remember first time I was in his home and he was showing me all of his footprint casts, and just the excitement was just like it's, brand new to him.
Right?
Just so cool.
And he had been involved since, I believe, 1968?
Oh God, yeah,
something way back when he found that footprint and and decided where he wanted to live and work, that he could incorporate Sasquatch research into his life. But he was the Sasquatch biologist. I mean, he was an amazing man. He was very well spoken, but he was more interested in listening to what somebody else had to say than what he was going to say.
Yeah.
And it was a great loss to the community when he passed away.
Yeah.
I believe it was just over 5 years ago. It seems like yesterday, and it's already been 5 years. But just great. I met him in Ohio in April of 2000 at the Ohio Bigfoot Conference, which is where I got the idea for the big Texas Bigfoot Conference. I attended that conference in Ohio, and I was like, hey, there's nothing like this in Texas. I bet I could put one of these on. And so that's what was the inspiration for that. And and it's probably back in those days there was only a handful of Bigfoot conferences. There was one.
But you were a pioneer in the media and all this stuff. You're a Cryptomundo. We haven't even talked about Cryptomundo. I mean, that was the place to get news, and you had no competition.
Well, that's true. I mean, that was at the forefront. That came out in September of 2005, way back then, and for a handful of years, I know there was a website that used to that ranked other websites, all the websites in the world. And I remember at one point that I looked it up, and at that time I think Yahoo was number one on their list, but Cryptomundo was I believe it was number 4,495. Wow. Out of all the billions of websites on the internet.
Didn't somebody offer you a bunch of money for that website at one time?
Yeah, but I didn't take it at the time.
No, I know you didn't. You're probably sorry.
It was valued at one time at $100,000 back in the day. And it wasn't about the money. I mean, it's a passion this subject. I mean,
but are your viewers, are your readers going up? Is it, what's going on with all the company?
It's basically become fairly stagnant now, because now there's, it's up there for an archive. I post, every week, maybe 4 or 5 articles on it now, but it was, probably 5, 6, 7, 8 cryptological articles a day that posted on it. And, it was fairly profitable at the time. But blogs aren't, it's podcasts now, and other media, blogs kind of came and went. It was at the forefront back in the day because, we're talking September of 2005. And I still remember the Georgia Bigfoot hoax in 2008, and it crashed the website for a week. We had to, as soon as we would move the site to a new server with more bandwidth and everything, as soon as the site would go live, it would crash again. And we did that for for a whole week before we could get the site to stay up. It was just amazing the amount of traffic that the site back in the early days used to get. I mean, and it still gets, quite a bit of traffic, like I said, because all of the articles that were ever published on it are still up there. Many articles by Lauren Coleman and myself, John Kirk, Rick Knoll, and other contributors. And it was a cool time back in the day, back in the days. And this is before Finding Bigfoot or Expedition Bigfoot, but it was after Sasquatch Legend Meets Science. Didn't that come out in 2003?
No, it was actually like 2001. I think I started working on it in 99.
Oh, wow.
And then I shot that in film. A lot of people actually with a film camera, film acetate.
Right. Not video.
That was a long time ago. With the clapperboard and the Stellavox recording box, and
it was, it still holds up. It's still the best Bigfoot documentary of all time, in my opinion. And
I think it is. I still think it is.
And I'm still waiting on part 2.
Part 2 is coming. It's not been, but I will tell you this, Craig, because it's been delayed, it's going to be better, much better.
Right.
So I've taken these delays as kind of fate, just like maybe I'm supposed to wait for something big coming down the pike.
Yeah, well,
and stuff did. The Alba Vernix happened.
Sure, the Alba Vernix happened. The face print on the glass door happened while you were in a holding pattern on it. So
yeah, exactly.
There's no telling what new may pop up in time for you to include it on the documentary. But I've enjoyed all of your work. I remember I met you. I'm trying to think of what conference it was. Way back.
It could have been. You know what conference it probably was? In Willow Creek.
I remember sitting outside in a table outside the conference room with you, and just talking about stuff.
It could have been. I was doing a lot of speaking back in those days. I was all over.
But it's been a long time. But like I said, would love to have you come down to Texas, hang out for the conference. Give a presentation. Show, screen a video, premiere a video of whatever you're working on. Be more than happy to. Like I said, worked with you on Mysterious Encounters with Autumn and several MonsterQuest episodes.
Yeah, Mysterious Encounters was the first Bigfoot series ever on television.
Yeah. I remember we, Autumn, came to the conference back in, I believe it was 2003. And
she's brilliant. She was just brilliant.
Yeah, I haven't talked to her in quite some time, but visited her home way back in, I believe it was 2009. She's a great investigator and researcher and very, very, very smart. And, but but I've enjoyed all your work. Monster
Well, thank
Quest.
you.
We did. What was it? Was it the Swamp Stalker episode?
Yeah.
The one where we did with, I believe it was with Mark. What was his name?
Mark Peterson.
Mark Peterson up there in Southeast.
I just
Oklahoma.
literally, there was one of the camera guys from Mysterious Encounters in chat tonight who I haven't talked to in years.
Oh, really?
I don't know. He showed up. He did.
What was that one guy? The guy, the one guy I remember. What was his name? I remember there was a couple of guys there on filming the Mysterious Encounters episode, but wasn't Mark Peterson involved with the horseback stuff up there?
No, he was in MonsterQuest, but not Mysterious Encounters. In
MonsterQuest,
I had the Marty Stouffer, if you remember Marty Stouffer, Wild America. I had his crew working for me, like Mario Benassi, some pretty neat people.
Yeah, some neat people, and we did that one down there. That part of that episode there in Fouke, Arkansas. They started up on horseback up in Southeast Oklahoma, and then we moved down with Rick Knoll there, and the what was it, the Luminex or the luminous spray on the vegetation there.
Yeah, right. Yep. I was just talking to Rick about that the other day.
Yeah, I haven't talked to him very recently. He's also a very cool, very smart guy.
Yeah,
a guy
brilliant.
A lot of people don't know who he is because he's really under the radar. But I mean,
yeah,
he
Rick
started
Knoll
researching
is
like back in 1969. I mean, and
I owe so much to Rick. It's not even funny.
Yeah, he's a great guy, and a great guy to hang around.
Yeah,
and to learn from because he's very smart. He's an aerospace engineer and worked for Boeing for many, many years. And, I forgot what his line of work is. I know it's very, very, very micro measurement and stuff.
Yeah. But now he's doing a lot of multimedia stuff for Boeing.
Yeah. But another very brilliant man. And
yeah, there are a lot of brilliant people in this field. And I like to tell people the people that are in this field are actually some of the brightest people on the planet. Skeptics can say, well, they're all wasted. No.
Yeah.
Their curiosity and their thirst to learn and the fact that they're putting time into a mystery that needs to be put to bed make them, I would say, in the 1% class of intelligence.
Sure.
So, Pat, everybody in chat and everybody who's into this mystery, please
contribute.
Realize,
and contributes in some way.
I mean, that's what we're here for, is to learn. That's kind of my thoughts.
Sure.
Well, do we need to unfocus your? It looks like you're focused again, Alex.
Yeah.
Just smack it with a hammer. That's the best way to fix it.
And if anybody is, curious about any of those events that I produce, they can find the information on Facebook. Like I said, I've got some surprises in store for the Texas Bigfoot Conference this year. I'm still working on a follow-up. I had to postpone it last year, but I did a Bigfoot Film Festival back in 2021. That was a very cool event. Had Eduardo Sanchez come down that directed the movie Exist, which I feel is the finest Bigfoot movie. But
you keep saying that, and I have not seen that movie.
Oh, you need to see that. I mean, he's the guy that in his mid-20s, did the Blair Witch Project.
Oh, he did.
And brought in, the first movie with a viral internet.
Well, do you know him? Do you know him?
Yeah, I know him real well.
Hook me up and we'll get him on the podcast.
Yeah, because he was inspired by the Legend of Boggy Creek. That's what made him want to make the Blair Witch Project.
Gotcha.
And he's already written two other. The movie Exist, which, like I said, the suit was amazing. They spent $100.
Yeah, but was it a horror movie? Did it go into the horror genre?
Well, it was because he's a horror movie director. But I mean, he is a guy. all of these Sasquatch movies come out where, people with no budget and no acting talent want to make a scary movie, a scary Bigfoot movie. But this guy is a horror movie director, and he made a movie, a great horror movie that just so happened to star Sasquatch. So, I mean, it's way different than just some dumb Sasquatch slasher movie, killing kids in the woods. I mean, it's actually got some thought process behind it. And this is actually his low budget Sasquatch film that he filmed in 2013 with a budget of $2 million. At that time, they spent $150,000 on making that Sasquatch suit, with hand punched every hair in it. And it was an awesome suit. But I can put you in contact with him. But he is a brilliant man, and big time into Bigfoot and Sasquatch. And he's got two more. He's got a mid-budget Sasquatch movie, and then he's got a big-budget Sasquatch movie. Like I said, that one was made for $2 million. He's got one that's like an $8 million budget, and then a $20 million budget. And I told him, if I won the lottery, that I would be the sole executive producer and for his big budget.
Well, somebody needs to make a realistic movie.
Sure.
Not a slasher film, not one where Bigfoot kills anybody.
Well, what's your favorite Bigfoot film?
Well, just I don't have any. I've hated all of them. I mean, there's the Harry and the Hendersons, which was just entertainment.
Sure.
But in some ways, they might have nailed it closer than in these other ones.
I thought that last scene in the movie was just amazing when they dropped Harry off in the woods. And then, like I'm talking about, people talk about Sasquatch cloaking. All of those other Sasquatch just basically just walked out of where they were camouflaged,
Yeah.
Because they, just melded into like the trees and the brush and everything. And I think that's really what happens when people say they saw a Sasquatch and it just disappeared in front of their eyes. I think that it just, became one with the environment.
Well, I just wanted to say I did see Exists, and I would love to have him on the show. And
Okay.
I think the premise was, I think it was good. I think there was a lot of, I don't want to ruin anything, right? But
yeah, I mean, I don't want to ruin it for your dad. I don't want to ruin it for you, Doug. But yeah, watch it.
But Sasquatch isn't just a psycho violent killer
it's not.
In this movie.
It's there's a reason for its its actions.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's really a well-made film. And like I said, that Sasquatch costume, when you say Alex, is awesome.
Yeah, the buildup is great. I would almost clarify.
Well, I've got to see it. I don't know why I've not seen it. I have no idea.
Well,
but if you can get him on, we'd love to have him on. It'd be fun.
I even watched Les's Bigfoot movie he was in. Did you ever see the one with was it Tom Green and
that one?
Les? Yeah, I was like, oh my God. And Stacy. I was watching it one night and I'm like, holy crap, that's Les. Holy crap, that's Stacy.
Yeah, Stacy Brown and
I had
Tom
no
Green.
idea that thing existed. It was just
Tom Green.
It was fun to watch, but
only
because I know those guys.
Another great Bigfoot movie is Willow Creek that Bobcat Goldthwait made.
I have not seen Willow Creek either.
You should watch both of those. I mean,
Alex, you should get Bobcat on.
I have his email address, and
he's actually a very brilliant little guy. Guy
he's a brilliant movie director.
You should get Bobcat on.
Guy that you saw in the Police Academy movies back in the day.
Right.
That was a character he did.
No, he seems pretty brilliant.
But
you should get him on, Alex. Get his email address from Craig.
Get them all on. I want them all on.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll put Ed Sanchez in touch with you guys. And he's a busy man. He does a lot of episodic TV. He's right now directing a lot of episodes of that TV show FBI. he did Supernatural, that show that was on the CW. I think he directed a lot of that. But Queens of the South, that was a really good episode crime series, drug cartel. But he does.
I watched that. I did watch that on Netflix. Yeah.
Which one?
The Queen
of the South.
Yep.
Yeah, he was an executive producer of that series and directed a lot of that. So, one of the high points of my life was when he came down for the Bigfoot Festival. And as soon as I picked him up from DFW, we drove to Falk, Arkansas I had to go pick up some Legend of Boggy Creek DVDs from the Monster Mart in Falk. And I drove him on that, and we talked music and TV and movies, the whole way, a 3 to 4 hour drive. And it was just fascinating just talking to him about, pop culture and, what his inspirations were from stuff and how much he was into Bigfoot and stuff. So, like I said, I'll send him the link to this interview tonight and put you guys in touch to
Love
get
to
him.
have him on.
Yes, make sure you can watch it on Prime. I'm not sure where else you can see exist online, but it's streaming online, and I know it's on Amazon, and I think it's on even Apple, but you can stream it and watch it. It's an amazing movie, but you have to watch that, and then I'll have him see about lining him up for your show, so you have something to talk about that movie.
Awesome. I have to get Doyle Vandewater on. This guy's amazing. He's just throwing stuff in chat that's blowing my mind.
Have you guys interviewed Michael?
Waldy?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, we had Waldy and Shelley on.
Have you done Lyle?
I'm going to get him back. And yeah, we had Lyle on too. Yes.
Great.
Yeah, that was a fun show with Lyle.
Yeah, Lyle's a fun guy.
I like to give Lyle crap. He's got his fingers, and he's got his band, his rock band, his hot sauces. He's got, obviously he tours, he does films, he narrates documentaries, and on and on and on.
Yeah. He's a jack of all trades and master of many.
Yeah. We have to do a show we have to do a free-for-all podcast sometime with just a bunch of us, just friends and just yicky-yak and just kind of.
Well, come to the Texas conference, and we'll do a live show with everybody in person. Shelley and Michael and
that'd be fun.
And Lyle and all kinds of people.
Yeah, I got to drag Alex to one of these things. Alex?
Yeah?
So you remember, this stuff scares Alex. Alex is of soft heart.
Yeah, I'm a little shy.
You're a little shy?
Yeah. Yeah, this on the air stuff is okay, because we're not in the same room in front of a bunch of people.
Yeah. You don't want to get up in front of a bunch of people?
Yeah, if all these live people were in front of me, I don't think I'd be able to get a word out.
Well, you are pretty quiet on here.
He was a little more quiet tonight than normal. He's the
behind the scenes.
That's because we know each other and we're just going at it like a bunch of friends.
I mean, it's just like hanging out at a conference.
Exactly. That's why it's a little more informal of a podcast than we normally put on, but that's okay.
Well,
plus we've gone long. Are we going to turn to dust, Alex, on the time?
Yeah. I don't know about you guys, you gentlemen, but I haven't eaten a single thing tonight.
Oh, okay. Well, let's say goodnight to all the amazing people in chat. Just did amazing tonight. Craig, you are amazing. We're going to get you back on. We're going to we got to just do a free for all.
Sure.
That'd be a lot of fun.
We'll get you and Michael and Shelley and Amy and
Shelley and just have a
just a free for all.
Just all kinds of people on the show at the same time.
Yeah, let's do that, Alex. We haven't done that yet, a group show.
Yeah,
but
I'll be in focus.
We're going to put you right in the middle, Craig.
Okay.
Right in the dot.
Okay. Well, I want to be the center.
Yeah, the center, right in
Okay.
the middle.
That's why I'm in the bullseye, so people can throw the darts best at me.
Exactly.
But yeah.
So good night. Good
check
night.
out Exist. Check out Exist.
Okay,
I'll put you and Ed in touch, and he does these, so I'm sure that it wouldn't be an issue to get him hooked up to be on your show.
Let's do it. I hear Alex's stomach rumbling. All right. Good night, everybody.
Good
Good
night,
night, Craig.
Good night. It
Alex.
was great to see you guys.
Yeah, it was fun. Good night.
Okay, thanks.
I call you up in the middle of the night, been bothered by dreams, ain't feeling alright. You give me comfort, say just give it some time. By the end of our talk, I'm feeling just fine. You and I will always know where we belong. This ain't no ordinary love we got going on. I'll pick you up in my 59 Ford. We head on down the road until we get bored. Just you and me and the sun and the wind. If the rain should start falling, we'll head home again. Everybody else can see where we belong. Oh, ain't no ordinary love we got going on. At the end of the world, together forever is one, and I'll wait. If ever you should be in doubt, and I'll pray they never can pull us apart, and I'll wait for the time when we'll be together every day. But I know if ever we'll be led astray, that I'll find my way back home to you again. At the end of the world, together forever is one, and I'll wait. If ever you should be in doubt, and I pray they never can pull us apart, and